6 o'clock, and I call this meeting to order. All board members are present. It is the practice of our Board of Education to begin our meeting with prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. We invite you to bow your head for prayer and stand to join us in the pledge if you so choose. Ms. Gallo.
Let's bow our heads. Lord, we respectfully ask for your guidance and wisdom as we proceed with the business before us. Keep us mindful of our purpose of providing a quality education for the students attending Taylor County Schools. Amen.
Dr. Stallings, any adjustments or addendums to the agenda?
No, Ms. Gallo, there are none.
All good. Superintendent respectfully requests approval of the agenda as presented.
Moved.
Mrs. Gallo moves.
Second.
Mr. Taylor seconds. All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Moving us straight into the 4000 series financial approval of the schedule of proposed levy rates for fiscal year ended June 30, 2025. Is there anything we need to know about this, Mr. Dolan, before I read it?
Should say June 30, 2026.
Okay. Can I have a motion to amend the date?
Motion made to adjust the date to reflect June 30th of 2026.
A second?
Second.
Mrs. Knott seconds. All right. All those in favor? Aye. Okay. And that reads, the superintendent respectfully recommends that the schedule of proposed levy rates be approved and adopted as submitted, and that the Taylor County Board of Education propose to lay the following levy on each $100 valuation in each class of property. Current expense levy, Class 1, 1940, Class 2, 3880, Classes 3 and 4, 7760. Excess levy rates, Class 1, 1148, Class 2, 2295, Classes 3 and 4, 4590. Bond levy rates, Class 1, 474, Class 2, 948, Classes 3 and 4, 1896. With a copy of the schedule immediately forwarded to the West Virginia State Auditor's Office and a copy of the schedule published in the local newspaper as required by West Virginia Code. Motion?
Move. Second.
Mr. Taylor moves. Mrs. Gallo seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. That moves us to the adjournment of this meeting. Motion?
Moved.
Second.
Mrs. Gallo moves. Mrs. Knott seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion, meeting is adjourned at 6:03. Any objections to moving forward, or would we like to wait till 6:05?
I say we move.
Whatever your pleasure.
Outstanding. Hearing no objections, we are going to call the 6:05 meeting to order. All board members are present. It is the practice of our Taylor County Board of Education to begin our meeting with prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. We invite you to bow your heads for prayer and stand to join us in the pledge if you so choose.
Lord, we respectfully ask for your guidance and your wisdom as we proceed with the business before us. Keep us mindful of our purpose of providing a quality education for the students attending Taylor County Schools. Amen.
All right. Dr. Stallings, any adjustments or addendums to this agenda?
In fact, Ms. Gallo, we have one.
My
Excuse
name
me,
is
Ms.
Garvin.
Garvin, I beg your pardon. Thank you for praying tonight. This is going to be very helpful. So if you will please see on page to item number 3180. We simply left off the dollar sign. Far right of line 1. 3180 should be 143,500. That is all I have for this day. Thank you.
Outstanding. Superintendent respectfully requests approval of the agenda as presented.
Moved.
Mrs. Knotts moves.
Second.
Mrs. Gallo seconds. All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Moving us directly into the 1000 series information. We have the American Legion American Flag Retirement. Mr. Dave Robbie Robertson,
Welcome.
why don't you step forward, come to the microphone. We are live streaming, so we do ask that you use the microphone for anything you'd like to say.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for inviting us for this. Dr. Stallings asked us if we could retire a flag that has been in this building for no one can know how long, but we have done that. And actually, we're here for two missions today, actually. One is for the flag to retire, which we have encased it in a glass case for display in this building. We were also asked to provide a flag for the front of this building, and we have done that. We have one here to pass on to you to fly in front of this building. It's a 3x5 flag, but it's kind of a special flag because it's not new. It's a flag that is flown out at our lot in Blueville that we've put up for Veterans Day, Memorial Day, and special patriotic holidays. We have to change those flags out about every 2 years. They fly for a while and we put them away and we fly them again. But the ones that are still serviceable, we pass out to the community to fly in the community because they're still good. So the one flag we're going to give you for fly over the building is one of those flags.
Great.
I just wanted to let you know that, that it is a special flag that you're going to fly over this building. The one in the bag, Doug, if you will present that to Dr. Stallings, please. The second part of our mission is the actual retired flag that we've done for you. And we're going to do a quick ceremony. We don't want to hold anybody up too long, but we want to do a quick ceremony of the flag folding. And then we will, Dave, go ahead and put that up here so everybody can see the flag in the case. And now I'm going to have the guys come up and do a folding for you real quick here. Like I said, I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you all are busy. So. You're good. We will now conduct the flag folding ceremony. This ceremony represents some of the religious principles that our country was originally founded. In the evening, at all military installations, a ceremony of retreat after taps is sounded, the flag is lowered and folded into a triangle and kept under watch throughout the night as a tribute to our nation's honored dead. It is brought out at a ceremony of reveille the next morning to run up the pole to fly aloft as a symbol is our belief in the eternal life and the resurrection of the body. We know that our flag has 13 folds. The first is a symbol of life. The second is the belief in eternal life. The third signifies remembrance of our veterans departing our ranks. The fourth is for our weaker nature as American citizens and our trust in God. The fifth fold is a tribute to our country. The sixth fold symbolizes where our hearts lie when we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, one nation, under God. The seventh fold is a tribute to our armed forces who protect our country. The eighth represents the one who enters into the valley of the shadow of death and to honor mothers. The ninth is a tribute to our womanhood. It is through their faith, love, loyalty, and devotion that the characters of the men who built this country have been molded. The 10th fold is for our fathers. The 11th fold in the eyes of the Hebrew citizen represents the lower portion of the seal of King David and King Solomon and glorifies in their eyes the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The 12th fold in the eyes of the Christian citizen represents the emblem of eternal and glorifies in their eyes God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Ghost. The 13th fold, we fold from the stripes to the stars. The stripes represent the 13 original colonies that founded our republic, and they are embroidered in 50 sovereign states represented by the star. So the stars cover the stripes. When the flag is completely folded, the stars are uppermost, which reminds us of our national motto, "In God we trust." After the flag is completely folded and tucked in, it takes on the appearance of a cocked hat, ever reminding us of the soldiers who served under General George Washington and those who followed preserving our rights, privileges, and freedom that we enjoy today. We will now have a rendering of taps. That concludes our ceremony for the flag. Have a couple other comments. We started a project a couple years ago at the American Legion to put a MIA POW table in buildings throughout Grafton and Taylor County. There's one in the middle school. There's one in the courthouse. There's a couple that buildings have closed that we got back, and we're going to put them somewhere else. But we would like to ask the board if they would like to have a POW table represented in your building here.
I'm okay.
I think that we would be honored to do that.
Okay, we have one here. I know I want to take you more time tonight, but we can come back in and set it up later. There's a ceremony that goes with that. The Legion does a ceremony for everything. So there's a ceremony for that too. So we can come back and do it at another board meeting, or we can just come set up the table here where you went in the building.
I think that we would all very much enjoy the ceremony and the moving of the dedication, because
Okay,
I've seen this ceremony several times and I'm still, so thank you so much for
Okay.
everything, gentlemen.
okay. All right, thank you all. Let me introduce,
Where would you all like us to put the items for the table to store here?
I can make arrangements to have that in my office until we find a space for that. We'll figure out what that's about.
I think that sounds good.
okay, okay. I just want to introduce the other members. The musical talent in the group is Mr. Corey Robinson, my brother Doug Robinson, my brother-in-law Dave Hogue, and myself. We're all members of the American Legion Taylor County Post 12. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson.
Thank you, gentlemen, for your service, and thank you for coming to us.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
I would really appreciate this. It's nice. Nice.
And from one amazing chunk of history in Grafton to another amazing chunk of history in Grafton, the Grafton High School girls basketball team, with coaches Keener, Beltner, and Jones. Would one of you like to stand up and tell us some things about these amazing ladies?
Please move to the microphone.
It's a great group of young ladies that stand in front, or that sit in front of you. You know, I'm tough, and I expect the world out of them, and I don't accept anything less. But yet they respond to every challenge that I put out there to them, and they look to exceed that challenge day after day after day, not only on the court but in the classroom as well. You know, their accomplishments on the court were history making this season, but they also carry, as a group of young ladies, as a team, a GPA of over 4.0. I think that falls short at times, and you know, isn't looked at as the true student athlete should be.
Anything stick out as a specific moment when, or a brilliant pride point beyond the obvious remarkable accomplishment?
You know, when I took over this program, well, when I say I mean we, because the four of us have been together the whole time. But when we took over this program, we took it over with a standard and an expectation. And we're finally starting to meet that expectation and standard. And the girls bought into everything that we've asked to since day one. And now we've coined that phrase of refuse to lose mentality. And it didn't matter who we were playing or what we were doing. That was the attitude that they brought to the court night in and night out.
Could you introduce them?
Sure. You want me to do the whole list or just the ones that are in the room?
Your choice.
I'm going to do the whole list then.
I love that.
Okay. First is senior Jazzy Ray, senior Reagan Knight, senior Hadley Horn, senior Hope Deaver, senior Amarai Kane, junior Kenna Keener, junior Ashlyn Boyard, sophomore Ruthie Horn, sophomore Maddie Fryer, sophomore Peyton Freeman, sophomore Rihanna Kane, freshman Natalie Beltner, freshman Paisley Freeman, freshman Key Spring, freshman Jordan Cox, freshman Taylor Boyard, and freshman Arabella Jones.
Thank you, ladies.
ladies. So just want to share just a couple comments with you from the board. You know, I think you know how exceptionally proud we are of you. Not only what you did on the court, but what you do in the classroom. And not only there, but also what you do in the community, because I've seen different community projects that you guys have done, and going to the nursing home and really giving back to your community. So those are all wonderful things that we're also proud of you. And you carry yourself with poise, and you're ladies, and I hear wonderful things about you, and we're just so proud of you and your coaches and your other team members that are not here with you this evening. We're proud of them as well. And, you know, Coach, you got a lot of young ones still yet, so there's only, just keep reaching and reaching, right? You know, and your coaches can help teach you the fundamentals and the game and how to play the game and so forth, but you guys have to have that heart and that passion, and you can clearly see that. You can see that on the court and off the court. So we're just very, very proud of you. To the seniors, thank you so much for your leadership, you know, because that speaks volumes as well. So just thank you very much. And then I just had a personal delivery of a message that my husband wanted to share, that he has really enjoyed doing the public announcing, or the radio. I don't know if I'll get it right, but anyway, he's really enjoyed being able to do that for you ladies. So thank you so much.
Way to go, ladies. Way to go.
We would very much like a photograph of everyone. If we can come up and face away from the board, we'll grab a picture of with our. Could your coaching staff join us as well?
Yeah, we also need to recognize our team mom.
Oh yeah,
Wilma,
Team Mom.
Wilma, come up, please.
Sure, she helped keep you all organized, and tremendous asset to the team. Yeah.
So,
Oh, he thoroughly enjoyed it.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, ladies.
You know what? You especially, you are making waves all over the county with the kids, with the sports. Good job. Good job. Good
Thank
job.
you, sir. Thank you. Thank
Good
you.
job.
Thank you.
Keep it up. Keep up the hard
Thank
work.
you.
Good job.
No problem.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
Okay, thank you.
Hello. Good job on
Thank you.
everything.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Very good. See ya. Share our congratulations with the ladies that weren't here, please. Thank you. We're very proud of what you've done. Thank you.
Now all the exciting stuff is out of the way, which leaves us with the boring things. What do we have for our superintendent update?
Hey, I just wanted to let you know that the rest of the team are at track or tennis or what.
We
Right.
figured. We figured. Yeah.
No.
We know we're
we know-
multitasking for sure. Thank
We know
you.
we're not that important.
Indeed, Ms. Gallo, I don't know why I am referring to you as Ms. Gallo. I know that you are Ms. Garvin, and I apologize for that twice. Let me start again. Ms. Garvin and members of the board, as you received this information earlier electronically, I won't read every piece of that, but I did want to give you the quick updates just as a reminder so that the people are hearing information from in the streaming land, that we are still looking at the concession stand for Flemington Elementary School. My plan is to, I have not had the opportunity to invite the individuals back to a meeting so we can continue that conversation and see what the plans happen to be. I assure you I will do that in the very near future. Also, I wanted to give you the update that the envelope project that we submitted for permission and approval from the SBA is well underway. As recently as Friday, we had the pre-bid clarification meeting at that site, during which Dr. Decker and Mr. Dolan, Mr. Martin from the Williams and Shriver were present to help the interested contractors access the roof so that they could see what they're into. That took place on Friday, as I mentioned. Transportation maintenance departments are in the process of making changes and shifts to how they can occupy the new building that was just purchased, or the property that was just purchased. That's in the process. Dr. Decker has been working with Mr. Martin as well to make obtain some recommendations about placement of things such as the fuel tanks and the accessibility for buses to do that once we relocate to that site. The third item there, you're talking about we have had an expressed interest in that former property that we've decided apparently we do own. I must admit I thought that was not ours a long time ago, but we'll reach out to the gentleman who has expressed an interest and pursue that. To your delight, I hope you saw that the Taylor County Middle School golf team is up and running and went to their first match at a wonderful location that was at the Stonewall Resort. And so they got a taste of what yet another location for playing golf is all about. Coach Devert was very complimentary of the students. He's pleased to tell us he has approximately 11 students are on the team. It is a co-ed team.
That's great.
Which is also pleasing because that is available to both males and females of our school system. We like that. They are scheduled to have a home match this week, weather permitting. My guess is they will have a home match because Doug Devert is all about this process right now, and he appreciates being given that opportunity. I believe from when you hear him talk about it, he's going to live up to your expectations, I believe. Maybe I should say, or else, in case he's listening. The new Anna Jarvis Elementary School, my Lord, there's progress happening there nonstop. It appears to be a lot of movement of dirt, but I have been assured that it's getting higher, and some of those places where they're getting the dirt is becoming deeper, but I'm assured all the infrastructure that has to happen is on schedule. There have been some distractions on occasion when we were finding something that needed to be relocated, such as the easement we afforded the Hope Gas gentleman or company. All of that is in good hands. And so progress. We are still on schedule for finishing that building in spring 27. That's just 2 years from now. I keep reminding them that that's what they keep assuring me, because time is of the essence for personal reasons, as you know. Also, we received a proposal at our last meeting, a request to be given an opportunity to do a feasibility study at the Camp Tolls. I feel it's essential that we bring Mr. Sturm, excuse me, I have to cough. I apologize. Mr. Sturm, together with Mr. Wilson, I made a typo I see it says Mr. Wisen, but it's Mr. Wilson, the gentleman who is overseeing the mountain biking group that you have supported in the past by providing them the trailer, along with he's a metal trades advisor and faculty advisor for that group, as well as Mr. Garrison, who we have on as our caretaker for the Camp Tolls facilities. Those people will be also brought together for a separate discussion about how we're going about this process to bring back a proposal for you eventually. Also, there was a reminder that last time we met, we provided some initial information about all the projects that we have in mind for capital improvements and things. I hope you've still been thinking about those. I know we'll be discussing some of that again very soon. So there you have it. if I might say one more thing that I didn't put in the agenda because it wasn't done yet, I wanted to congratulate the Grafton High School Theater Department for their production that was offered on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. My wife and I attended on Saturday. I had actually been there, as you well know, on Wednesday, and I was proud of that presentation. The students in their performance clearly took that very seriously and were eager to have people come and see them. At some point, my goal is, I was just talking to Mr. Knopp today at the high school for something else, and he and I had a conversation and are in agreement that we've got to figure out a way to fill all those seats for these things. So we need to do a better job of promoting, I'm not referencing you, Ms. Garvin, but I'm just saying, but there was a time, I recall, a long time ago, and John, Mr. Taylor, you were a teacher there, I think, where it was hard to get a ticket because they sold out quickly. And I believe our venue is, with the new sound and lighting system and all the repairs we've done to the interior, screams, bring in some people that we can get, in addition to our own school performances, other things that might draw the crowd to take advantage and enjoy. And we have started that conversation. Mrs. Knotts had mentioned about seats last time. We've had mixed reviews already, people that were listening to the board. As we expected, we talked about that last time.
I expect it, yep.
And so that's not a surprise. They're not disappointing in that regard.
But are you having people, I'd be interested to see, you are having people that would support new seats?
Well, we have, I've not received anything. I've received a caution, and that was regarding the cost and the difficulty in maintaining the cleanliness of cloth seats in theaters. And that was just the one thing that seemed to strike a chord with me when they were listening and someone reached out and said, we know those are old and those are vintage, if you will, because they're era appropriate for the school when it was built. But please keep in mind that if you decide to do that, it is very difficult. They would not disparage the students, but one of the things that we'll have to make sure we think about is if we ever get to that point, when we get to that point, I'll say, that some decision's going to be making, have to enforce the expectation of food and drink being entered into theater for productions. Just a cautionary statement that I was given. I'm sharing that with you as well. I think that's everything for now. I'm sure more things will come up in discussion point. Thank you.
Do we have any board member updates or board committee meeting reports? Hearing none, we'll move into the 2000 series. Minutes, policies, contracts, and agreements. The superintendent respectfully requests approval of the minutes for the regular and budget meetings on April 8th, 2025.
Moved.
Mrs. Knotts moves.
Second.
Mrs. Gallo seconds. Questions? All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. We have some policies in their second reading and some policies in their third reading. So superintendent respectfully requests approval of items 2241 through 2247 in the 2000 series.
So moved.
Mr. Taylor moves.
Second.
Mrs. Knott seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Ms. Garvin, may I speak to the one item? You'll notice that in your packet, there's been, per the request of last meeting, the policy 2239 has been revised per the request, such that it was run by, we did some editing and it was introduced to the administrative council as recently as yesterday, just to affirm, just to make sure we weren't overlooking anything. I just might draw your attention to that for future. The reason I say that is you had the version in your packet that you had requested that there be some attention given, and as recently as yesterday that was finalized per the request of the board. And we addressed both topics that like the notes I caught that I duly noted, that were from the comments made at the last meeting. One about the opportunity to arrange for making up time rather than losing salary. And the other dealt with cleanliness and the appropriateness of the location that's afforded them. Those things have been addressed in there, I assure you.
Very good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. And that is one of the policies in the second reading, so we will have a chance to go through all of that again.
Right.
Resolved that the bylaws and policies printed and codified in the comprehensive document entitled Bylaws and Policies of the Taylor County Board of Education are hereby adopted, and that all bylaws and policies heretofore adopted by the Taylor County Board are hereby rescinded. Further be it resolved that in the event any policy, part of policy, or section of the bylaws is judged to be inconsistent with the law, inoperative by a court of competent jurisdiction, or invalidated by a policy or contract duly adopted by this board, the remaining bylaws, policies, and parts of policies shall remain in effect in full. Thank you for the legalese. As we continue through the 2000 series, Superintendent respectfully requests approval of items 2248 and 2249 in the 2000 series.
Moved.
Mrs. Gallo moves.
Second.
Mrs. Knott seconds. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
2248. What line item in the excess levy does this cover? Because this is kind of weird sounding to
I
me.
believe there's a capital improvement line.
Is that what we're going to call that? That seems to me as a service.
It falls under the maintenance,
Oh, okay.
the maintenance part of the,
As you'll remember, the levy language talks about anything in those 13 line items, if that's any excess information that's applicable to the, I believe it's a 20, 30 percentage of those three
Right.
categories, and that would fall in that area.
And it just seems odd that that would be covered by an excess levy, that service, but that's all.
Mm.
Other than
Okay.
general
Those,
funds.
those three are fairly broad catchments of any overage that happens to be available. That would be my interpretation.
I just thought that might come out of general fund account, but, okay, I'm okay.
Okay.
Does that seem odd?
It's a $60 investment at that point. Monthly, sorry.
Right. Do we anticipate that that will be a long-term contract, or is that a through getting us up and moving contract?
Well,
or
I
is
think
that
it's,
a-
once, of course, the new contract, it talks about remember the new location that we just purchased may be introducing some additional costs at some point. Not yet discovered or realized.
Okay.
Then we would bring that back as a separate approval process.
Okay, and then 2249, not to exceed 100,000, but that's for both. That's for
Right,
both.
yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, not 100 per. No.
okay. Do we need to word that differently, or are we okay with how that reads?
Well, the intention was Grafton High School and Anna Jarvis, not meant to be
Okay.
one service, there's one per.
And, we have and in there, okay.
Yes,
All right. I'm
all
good.
good questions.
Okay. We have an open motion on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving into the 3000 series consent calendar. It's a very short series. Two things. Superintendent respectfully requests approval of items 3180 and 3181 in the 3000 series.
Moved.
Mrs. Gallo moves.
Second.
Mrs. Knott seconds. Questions? I have one. What is capturing kids' hearts?
I'm so glad you asked that question. Dr. Decker was just sitting here bubbling over, wanting to talk about that, but it is. Dr. Decker and I were made aware of a program entitled Capturing Kids' Hearts, and we were invited to attend. I think her story is I made her go with me to that, but we were taken to a training that introduced us to this program, and it deals with a mindset shift and culture type experience, so that it can make us more aware of who we are as individuals and or educators, finding out our personalities and if we are different. And Dr. Decker is smirking, smiling, because we knew something about the two of us were slightly different in personalities and delivery, and it affirmed that in a positive way. The program starts out with what we participate in, initially ask you to rate yourself or rank yourself based on a whole bunch of descriptors, and then you ask colleagues to do so in like mind about you. That goes into a profile. They bring you together and they give you your results, and you find out how very differently you think of yourself versus someone else. That was the initial exposure to the process. It was very helpful. It helped us design our personal goals and aspirations for doing our job. It gives us a long-term plan for how we want to change or improve or enhance or become better. In addition, because we did that participation, they afforded us an opportunity to expand and provide training of additional members of our faculty and staff. And that started with a 2-day experience in Charleston, where we had selected representatives from our elementary and middle schools. They attended, and more recently then it affords us an opportunity to bring that on board for the county, to expose more faculty and staff, to just kind of broaden the experience of that particular program that's inspiring positivity across the county. And Ms. Dr. Decker is going to give you more explanation about where we are in that process.
I would say that, so the part that Dr. Stallings explained to you is what they call the leadership blueprint. So that will be an experience that every leader in the district will get to experience. The school experience is a little bit different than that, as you can tell. So there's a lot of, like we said, we took a team from Anna Jarvis, we took a team from the middle school, we took some people from Flemington. So we took a wide variety to get their opinion on what they thought of the mindset. It's really a mindset. So it offers a lot of ideas of implementation of strategies in your classroom, of how to build strong relationships with your students, with each other, with your colleagues. And then there's also an opportunity for all of our service personnel who sometimes do not get that type of experience will have an experience. Our bus drivers will get this, our cooks will get this, our custodians, everyone will have an experience to be able to talk about just how to shape the culture of their environment where they are with our students. So it's a lot of learning how to help each other, be kind to each other, and to grow as a culture. So that's what it's about. And this really started through the middle school coming and asking for some similar things. And then when we got exposed to this, we thought we'd let them try it and see if they liked it. And I will say that Mrs. Roberts and I went with that team, and then we asked for feedback from them if they would like to consider us doing this for their whole school, and they all said yes. So that's what led us to doing this.
As Dr. Decker mentioned, the essential piece with the service personnel is many of them, we forget that they are working with our students as well. Sometimes such as our bus drivers are the first line of exposure to for the children. So that part of the program is also an essential component, as she's indicated. We see it has a lot of promise for solidifying the culture mindset for the county.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Any additional questions? Yes, ma'am.
Do you notify when people request to use our facilities, do you notify them when they're going to be on the agenda so they know if they wanted to come or ask any questions?
Yes, we always tell them when it's going to happen. Yes, ma'am.
they always know when they're gonna be on the agenda? Okay. All right.
An example would be, I don't know if we're there yet. Oh, during the MOU that was on there before, I wanted to mention that Chief Durrett had intended to be here for that. Unfortunately, his wife's had a medical, an appointment that was shifted to this afternoon, and he was not able, he texted me and let me know that he was not going to be able to make it because of the last minute change of that schedule. But more often than not, people, they're always told, but some people say things like, do I need to be there? Well, you know, you're always welcome in case there's a question. But this evening, no one felt the need to do that. I hope that answers your question, Mrs. Knotts.
Any additional questions for the 3000 series? All right, we have a motion on the floor. All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Moving us into the 4000 series financial. Vouchers payable. Mr. Dolan, what can you tell us?
The only thing we have tonight are just a list of checks that had been written or are going to be written and released tomorrow upon your approval. I will be sure. I will be sure to hand out your email and phone number.
All right, superintendent respectfully requests approval of items in the 4000 series.
So moved.
Mr. Taylor moves, Mrs. Knott seconds. Any additional questions or wrenches to throw in the works, Mrs. Knott? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Moving us into the 5000 series. So,
The next one might not be as nice.
we have a number of contract renewals, transfer agreements, extracurricular duties, summer employment, leave of absences, creation of 2 new positions. Then we have renewals for service personnel, resignations for service personnel. Does anybody need more time to read through the list? Sure, we've all done that.
I think
All
I
right.
noticed there's a gentleman in the corner holding his breath as you ponder
The
these.
superintendent respectfully requests approval of items 5506 through 5521 in the 5000 series. Mrs. Knotts moves.
Second.
Mrs. Gallo seconds. Questions, comments?
Yeah, I just had a question on 5519. Is this due to volume, I'm assuming, the
Yes.
number of, and what is going to be our student-to-teacher ratio then at Anna Jarvis? Do we know yet?
So I can't tell you that exact number. I could tell you, but so for this current year, we reduced to first grade. And then obviously we have a large kindergarten class coming back up, so we cannot house them in 3, so we have to go back to 4. I will also say that we did, Mr. Dolan, Dr. Stallings and myself met early on in the personnel season time, and we could have reduced a kindergarten classroom at Anna Jarvis due to the numbers, but determined to leave that there for next year to encourage smaller class sizes in the kindergarten grade level. So they are keeping 4 kindergarten classes, and we did not reduce a kindergarten, even though our numbers right now in the early stage are a little smaller from our pre-K moving up, but we felt like it was still better investment to keep smaller class sizes rather than take the risk of having to pay overage in larger classroom sizes. We did reduce a second grade class there because of numbers, but that was done naturally because one of the second grade teachers has already bid out of that position, so it just is not being reposted because of the numbers for second grade. That's first grade class is just a small group. So just like we reduced to first grade next year, that second grade is the small group this time around.
Okay. So we're still okay, though, with aides for those?
Yes,
rooms?
all of
Okay.
that. So there will also, so we also had some movement in the service personnel. So we will have one one of the classroom aides posted due to a movement of that. So that will help fill that new first grade class too. So yeah, everybody is still there. And again, no one had to be shuffled out of that because someone had already bid. So it will just be posted once we are able to do that, once personnel season time is done.
Okay. Any additional questions? All right, the motion is open. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Moves us into the 8,000 series discussion of regarding the 2025-2026 holiday schedule for 240 and 261 day employees. And there's a handout.
Ms. Garvin, there are two handouts coming around to you. One is the listing of 25, 26. All right, just want to make sure you have copies.
Okay.
2 copies.
Now you have 2 copies, or 4 sheets of paper.
It's the same, it's the same.
Yes, ma'am.
So what do you propose that we discuss?
Just, how do you feel about that?
Well, I can tell you one thing I feel. I believe, now I'm probably gonna be told I'm the only one that feels this way, but I wanna say it anyway. The rest of the board might not agree with me.
That's why we have 5 members on the board.
I believe that the 26th of December should be a holiday. It's a Friday.
That would be the will of the board.
Looked at that.
Would that have to impact any of the other days for you all to get your 261, or would that be?
It'd be a paid holiday,
It'd be a paid holiday. We would be credited with the day. We would
I just want to
appreciate
make sure
that,
it
but
wasn't going to impact these others, though.
I don't
Okay.
anticipate, no ma'am. We would
By adding
appreciate
more.
that, but that's, again,
That's just me. I mean, I see that you have the 24th off. I would probably feel better if, like, the 24th
So the
was a half a day.
26th is a Friday?
So it's
Yeah,
Friday.
what?
But, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
okay with having 3 holidays in a row, too. But I felt better if, like, 24th would have been a half a day, and then the other half paid, and then Christmas Day off, holiday, and then Friday holiday, but I still feel the 26th should be a holiday.
we would embrace that, but that's your call.
I agree with that.
Give the 26th off as a holiday, please.
Other than jealousy, I don't have any particular issue with that.
So is that a motion that needs to be made?
I would move that the 26th of December be a paid holiday for Taylor
Yes.
County Schools.
I second that.
All right, motion's been made by Mrs. Knotts and seconded by Mrs. Gallo. Any additional discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
I do have, so, yeah, West Virginia Day is the 20, wait a minute, I'm looking at the wrong year. Sorry.
We did the same thing when we were doing it.
Okay, gotcha.
Is that wraps around the
Yeah.
weekend?
Right.
So,
Yes,
or it
yeah.
is a weekend day, so we
Yep.
were
So I'll give you a
proposing
long
it become
weekend there,
that.
too.
not holding anything back, nothing secretive. We're
Just
just,
how the calendar falls.
indeed.
All right. Any additional discussion on the 25-26 holiday schedule? All right, let's move on to a discussion regarding the 25-26 schedule for board meetings.
Yeah, I have some things on that, too.
Me too.
Do we need to vote on this holiday schedule as a whole? Or just,
Will it be on an
We
agenda?
can, we'll put that on the next agenda.
huh?
You can do that now, but we'll put that on the next agenda either way. Since we've added that date, maybe we should have that as an
An
item.
official
to-
action?
And if,
Yeah.
yeah,
We'll do that.
next meeting.
since we have plenty of times, the first thing we'd be addressing would be July 4th, so we've got time.
Okay, we'll see that next time then.
Thank you.
Now, on the meeting thing, the only thing I really have heartburn over is our July meetings. So we've got one on the 8th and one on the 22nd. Knowing that we usually hire a bunch of positions in that time frame, and there's always a lot going on, we have 3 weeks in between what you've proposed, the July 22nd and the August 12th. I think we should move that to 5 and 19. Unless you can think of something that we shouldn't do that for, Dr. Stallings.
Well, I think initially, just to clarify, and I'm glad you brought that up, it was simply put there because we were just trying to honor the 2nd and the 4th. That's where that came from initially. But you have every option to shift. We do that on occasion.
And if we don't shift it, if we leave it the way you've proposed it, we probably should be prepared to be called in for a special meeting for any hires that need to be, or any business for beginning of school year. We may have to have one.
The 8th and the.
So you're saying between July 22nd to the August 12th?
There are 3
is what you're-
weeks. Yes, there are 3 weeks between July 22nd and August 12th. And sometimes there's a lot of before-school business to occur. And I'm okay to leave it alone. We just might want to be prepared that we get called in. Like, they may need to call us in for a special meeting somewhere.
What about if we move that to the 1st, though?
That's not really gonna help with that.
Okay.
She's saying move it closer to where there's not
Like
gonna be
the
in
5th.
between the end of July and the beginning of August.
I'm
Oh,
okay,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
I'd
I'm
say
sorry.
leave the
I was-
8th and the 22nd meetings alone for July.
All right.
But move August meetings from 5th
To the
to have
5th.
the 5th and the 19th.
Move it to the 5th is what you're suggesting.
Have the 5th and 19th in August
I won't
instead of
be
the
here
12th
the
and
5th,
26th.
but-
But it doesn't matter, as long as we're okay with that and understand that we may have to be called in for a special meeting
I-
if
I can
school
ag-
business occurs.
Yeah, I can agree with, so you're only gonna have one August meeting before school starts.
Right.
If you leave it on the 26th. So then we would not be able to hire people before the start of the school year.
So we should
We want
have,
to be able to do that.
Yes, so
Right.
that's why we might want to do exactly what Mrs. Knotts is
Right.
suggesting. Do the 5th and the 19th, because the 19th would be the first day
right,
for teachers to start, so we could actually hire them and get them in before
Love it.
they miss anything.
Anybody have huge objections to moving the 2 August meetings to the 1st and 3rd Tuesday instead of the 2nd and 4th Tuesday?
Just to make it weird.
And while you're looking at those dates, if you can just scroll forward to make sure there aren't any other shifts that you've
The-
tried to do that for.
the only other thing I saw, and I'm okay to leave it, because I don't think we are gonna have a whole lot of business between the December and the January meetings, so I think that one's fine. I think
Yeah,
there's
that
3 or 4
month.
weeks in between the last one we have before Christmas, and then the one we come back from.
Yeah.
But there's not a whole lot of business that occurs during that time frame.
Yeah.
That one's okay. It was the one that was before school started that concerned me.
So
Otherwise-
actually, that would be, what, 4 weeks between?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a lot.
That's, yeah.
But I've noticed that
This day.
when we come in on the 6th of right after the holiday break, sometimes it's tough to come in, but, I mean, I'm okay to move that one too, if you
Okay.
guys want
So
to.
that one's going to be moved.
Notice if May 12th is in there, that's election.
It's an election day, so that one's going to have to.
Oh, yeah, we gotta change that.
What was that?
May 12th.
We gotta do that on a Monday before, yeah, we gotta do that one on the 11th. That one needs moved to Monday, the 11th.
Yes, that one has to be.
It has
Okay.
to be on a Monday?
We always do it on a Monday before the election. Yeah.
The levy and personnel meeting in April has to be on the 14th.
Yeah, that one's good.
Does that mean the March levy meeting needs to move forward?
No, the March meeting's good on the 24th. It's just
That April 20th is way too close to the deadline?
well, April 14th is
Has to be
is
the
by
day.
code. We
Has
have
to
to
be
have all
done.
that stuff
It's-
done with
So do-
personnel and levy.
Well, Mrs. Gallo, we could do that May one on the 13th. But we normally do it on the Monday before the election. We can do
Mhm.
it on the Wednesday after.
Versus moving it the whole week ahead.
Right. We normally do the election week meetings on the Monday before the election.
Does that
Hmm.
severely mess up any submissions or anything on your all's end if we do it on that Monday? Like, 'cause we would have to, instead of having it in on the,
It would just tighten our
It's
agenda.
gonna tighten the agenda
Yeah.
time, right?
Instead of having it on the 4th, it had to be in on the 3rd.
Maybe the
It's
third
just-
that would be better if we did that. I'm sorry, what did you say I was talking
what,
about?
you both said the same thing. You both were saying this, the exact same.
It just,
just
it
like-
moves it this way a day or that way a day.
Yeah.
Well, maybe selfishly, if we can keep from crunching the time to get the agenda to you would be helpful.
Well, you wouldn't, you'd have to just make everything due a day, so instead of everything being due by May 4th, it would have to be due by May 1st, so it'd have to be to Sonia by May 1st.
Friday,
It would
yeah.
still give the same amount of days,
Yeah.
so you would just have to
Either
change.
way, we'll make it work.
So you're gonna do 11th? Is that right?
Monday or Wednesday, it doesn't matter to me.
Doesn't matter, whatever, yeah.
Whatever.
So that one.
Sorry, I'm still back on the December to January, so looking at that.
You wanna move that, Michelle?
I don't know, I'm just, I mean, I'm like agreeing with you that there may not be that much business, but
What-
4 weeks is more than 3, true.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know if, should we move it to the January 6th, but I guess it's
Uh,
6 in one, half a dozen in the other,
Right,
really.
because we come back to school on the 5th? Is that right?
Second, we'll have a PD
Come-
day, I believe, on the,
Students will come back.
students won't come back
Yeah,
yet.
I'm sorry, students come
won't
back
come
on
back
the 5th.
5th, yeah.
Okay.
There's always the option closer to that time if we find, on occasion, we have to shift the date down.
Mhm.
Or you could move the December one down to the 23rd, I mean, it's closer to Christmas, but
No, we don't.
Please
wanna
don't do that.
don't do that.
No, no. We
Of
don't
course they
wanna
can.
go to AJ on January 6th, the day after they come back from the break.
Yeah,
No,
let's
I
give
think,
them
yeah,
that
what
week.
rotation would that be?
January 3rd.
That would be them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
They
then
would appreciate
if-
that, I'm sure.
if something dramatic happens and we need to move that as we
As we
get closer, I think.
Let's all pray we don't have to deal with that.
That's your job, keep the drama down. Okay, so July is okay, August is shifting, September's okay, October's okay, November, December, January, all okay. I haven't heard any objections for February or March. April, the levy meeting, personnel meeting has to be moved to the 14th.
It's on the.
It's already on there.
It's on there.
He was just
It's-
telling us-
It was,
he was just telling us
It's,
It's
We have to
showing
keep
on the
it there.
28th.
it's actually on the 28th on here.
Oh, we'll move that piece up,
Yeah.
yes, I thought you
Oh,
were changing
I'm
the
sorry.
date.
sorry.
My question then is, with the deadline right there, do we need to move that forward more?
I would just have to have the budget ready for April 28th to present to you, because it
I'm
has to
just
be in
wondering if,
the newspaper for at least 2 weeks,
Right.
so.
should we have I mean, I know we had last week a budget meeting and then we had a regular meeting. Should we have a budget meeting on its own night?
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like that was a lot to discuss.
yeah. I feel, and this is just my opinion.
I just want to make sure I'm giving due
I think
diligence and attention to.
I feel like we have been trying to cram meetings into one night. And if you remember, I said especially our student hearings, I don't like to have those with regular meetings. Think if we had a student hearing tonight when we had all these students in here, that wouldn't have been fair to the student that had a hearing. There's times I think we need, superintendent evaluation needs to be on its own night. We need to have the ability to give our superintendent the time that we need as a board to discuss items and give them the respect. I wouldn't want somebody to come in and do a real quick, hey, here's your evaluation, I want,
Right.
and it doesn't matter if it's Dr. Stallings or whatever superintendent we have. They've worked their butts off for us all year. They deserve for their time with the board and discuss what they've performed well and where we're headed in the future a little bit, and maybe some good pats on the back and maybe some good things that we want to see better or whatever, right? That's what we owe our employee. So I think that needs to be a separate meeting. And the budget workshop, we know how deep that can go. Sometimes they're short and quick and sweet, and sometimes they're not. I just think there's things we need to be very careful that we're not getting very tired on, and we get here at 9:00, and there's some important items that we're just
Right.
trying to push aside, and it's just not fair to the county.
And last week was a lot, and I know a lot of us still have full-time day jobs, so, I just want to make sure that I'm
Yeah,
mentally alert for that length of time.
I agree.
I think
But
the
we can discuss that as we get through the year, and we can say, yeah, we want that meeting on the same night, or no, we don't.
I think the only thing that causes, I'm totally agreeing with you. The only thing that causes sometimes the crunch is when a suspension happens and we have that window that's
Yeah, we know.
policy. So bring that to your attention, say it's gotta be, when I tell you those dates, it's usually, this is the date we have to have it done by. Doesn't mean it has to be on, but that's when we try to fit that extra one in there, unfortunately, when it has to happen.
And if it gets to the end of the year and I don't have a few meetings that we're not getting paid for, I'm okay with that. I'm okay, as long as we're providing what we're supposed to be providing to the county. And you know what I mean? I'm okay to come in
Yeah,
here. It
I
doesn't
mean, I
matter.
understand that for the hearings, but I just think like, for the budget,
Yeah.
that's one of our biggest responsibilities, is that fiduciary responsibility, so just think that one we definitely should consider having it standalone.
Yeah.
That's
So,
just my thought.
Mr. Dolan, if we were to look at the week before that, April 7th, for a budget meeting, is that a reasonable piece for your time frame? Like, I don't want to put it so early that you're like, well, I don't really have comps and I don't know what they're really going to give us, and here's a
No,
guess.
I mean, I get unless there's big changes that happen down during legislative session. I mean, we do get our preliminary comps. It gives us a pretty good idea. Like I said, usually it's the salaries change or something along those lines, which, that comes later on. The 7th would be, a good starting point. That
Okay.
way, we could have some preliminary numbers. We've put the levy rates out. Like I said, usually that tends to go
Okay.
fairly
So-
straightforward, but, like I said, unless there's some big changes from the 7th through the end of the legislative session.
Okay, and does that,
Yeah,
Right.
that's about close to the session.
that's about where we did it this time.
Yeah.
And if we just made that April 7th meeting just about the budget, standalone, don't, put a big old star next to that, stand alone.
Usually
Mm.
talk about personnel,
Yeah, no,
just with
personnel,
budget,
is
just
fine,
budget-wise,
but
not
like-
really like people or specifics. So
yeah, but not
that's-
like, oh, by the way, we also need to approve a field trip and
Right, yeah. And we
can,
won't really have
can
to
we pay
even
the milk
hire
bill
people
and-
on that. It would just be talking about transfer and RIF season.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like numbers. It
Yeah.
wouldn't be, yeah,
and that, I think that,
just, that's kind of, we go hand in hand in that
Yeah.
discussion.
right,
so.
that makes sense to me.
And
Is
can
that
I,
okay with everybody else?
yeah, and can I recommend or ask, say we have a couple meetings a week, okay, say there's a week that we have 2 meetings, say we have a budget workshop on a Wednesday, and we have a regular meeting on a Tuesday. I'm okay, I don't know how the rest of the board feels. Jonathan wants to be at home on the regular meeting and call in if we have any questions, because he's gonna be required to be here the next night. I'm okay with that. I feel that that's a lot to ask of you for 2 nights in a row. If he feels that he wants to be home for the regular meeting, if he doesn't have a huge presentation, like some nights you have bigger presentations and you would want to be here. But like tonight, you just had a couple little updates, and if we had a big budget meeting tomorrow, he might be here late. So if he wanted to be home and if we had any questions, we could converse with him on those little short things. I mean, I'm okay with that. And the same goes for her. If she's required to be here for multiple meetings during the night. But sorry, Dr. Stallings, you don't get that. You don't have that ability.
Never right here.
I'm just trying to, when we're saying that we feel responsible that we should be here for certain meetings, I don't want the staff to feel like, oh, they're requiring us to be here for 2 and 3 nights. Well, they're not necessarily. If there's little bits of things that you need to converse with us on a regular meeting, and you know you have to be here for a longer meeting the next night, I don't care that they're at home calling in and, being in their pajamas.
Actually, we kind of do that on occasion, so I'm fine.
Yeah. And we can play that by ear throughout the year.
All right, so we would like to look at adding a budget personnel meeting on April 7th. We are moving the May 12th meeting to Monday, May 11th. Making a big note here. And then June sits pretty standard.
June what?
June, I think, looks fine. We do need to, and I don't have the deadlines in front of me, I'm sorry. Do we want to schedule the superintendent evaluation meeting now? Because I believe that is due mid-September. So,
The evaluation or the goal meeting?
well,
The evaluation would be due at the end of,
at the end of June.
yeah,
Yeah, sorry.
you said September.
I did. It was the goals that I was thinking of. I was like, there is a meeting about the superintendent in September, and what is that?
That goal meeting.
Yeah.
That's the goal setting.
So,
I don't think we should schedule that yet. Let's wait on that.
okay, that's totally fine. That would technically be on this calendar, current calendar anyway. All right.
When are our next meetings? Let me look here. April 29th,
Yes, ma'am.
May 13th. Can we do May 6th?
For the superintendent?
Yeah? Or do you want to do later than that, in June?
The only thing about May is that we'll have every Tuesday tied up on that one. That's my
Yeah.
only thought process on that if we did May 6th.
Well,
I'm one person, but I would prefer to wait, just because I know there's gonna be so many school activities and so
Mhm.
much
Yeah, I agree.
happening in May.
do you want to do June 3rd? That would put us graduation the 27th, June 3rd for his evaluation, June 10th for another meeting.
Week off, June 24th, and then two.
Or do
2
you want to
weeks.
do June 10th for a meeting, regular meeting, and June 11th for his eval to keep it in 1 week?
It is,
I'm here all week.
personally, it's easier for me to do Tuesdays, but I will, whatever works for everybody else better is fine.
June 11th doesn't work well for me.
Okay.
So
What
June
about
3rd?
It's my wife's birthday.
June
about
3rd
June-
works for me.
June 3rd.
Okay.
I'm good. I'm good for June 3rd.
Yes, I will be now.
You better not mess up between now and then.
No, I'm teasing you. No, absolutely.
You didn't hear me, did you?
No, what's that?
You better not mess up between now and then.
Tell me. The clock is ticking.
We're
I
gonna be
gotta
watching, we're gonna be
do-
watching between now and June 3rd.
I never
And-
intend.
And we are looking at 6 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're adding June 3rd?
Yes. To the current, not the future.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'll be texting you all, trying to figure out.
Please don't have all my stuff on it.
All right. Ms. Sonia, is that enough changes to bring this back to us? 2 weeks? All right. Anybody else got anything they want to look at on that at the moment?
Good.
Back on the board comments and discussion,
Yes.
at some future meeting, I would like to talk about a pool and see if we can't put our heads together and try to make that a reality at some point in the future. I think we can get assistance, and that's some of the stuff I want to talk about. Also, at some future meeting, before too long, I think the legislature's passed a bill that requires us to have a cell phone policy, so we need to talk about that too.
You mean they're not dictating the policy for us?
Yeah,
I saw that, and I read a little bit on it.
What's that?
it
They're-
felt dictated to me too.
I thought so too. They're
We
not-
should probably adopt it anyway, but
What?
They
the cell
dictated
phone-
the policy for us, didn't they? Or
No. They said we had to adopt the policy.
I anticipate Neola will provide you something as a starter. I'll be
Okay.
surprised if they do not. Because I think there was some language out there that would be recognizing.
Well, maybe the first thing you ought to do is get us all a copy of that bill and let us look at that.
You should have copies of all the bills, Mr. Brown's sending in all of them too.
yeah, they're in our email.
They're on the web.
Superintendent Blatt spoke to us last week at WVASA and stated that that bill was a copy of what is currently out for comment under the West Virginia Board of Education policies for a cell phone. It's basically the same writing in bill. The bill language is the same as the policy that the department created. So that is out on the department's website for public comment right now. So I'm sure Neola will be taking that and sending it, but we could get a copy. It's already currently out.
The other, what I was referencing with Mr. Brown, you're receiving, I'm getting copied everything he's sending to you as the board, and that includes all the bills and the languages and requirements and/or whatever the caveat of each one is. So I encourage you to look at that as well when your emails are coming in.
But
Some of them are
the bill doesn't dictate the
multi.
policy. It says that we must have one, and it has some criteria.
We do have one currently, but as Dr. Decker's indicating that we've heard from Superintendent Blatt, and you can reference that. We anticipate that Neola will be providing us that, probably the same language. As soon as we get that information, we'll make it available to you as well.
The May ASA meeting is also set to have Howard Sufer present to us on all the legislative updates and changes and how that impacts our policies. So we should have that in our May ASA meeting as well.
Plus, I believe you're going to the training on the 3rd, Saturday the 3rd at the Roanoke.
Oh, by the way,
He is presenting there, and I'll be surprised if that's not part of his coverage.
Never mind. I'll talk to Sonia later.
Okay.
I was going to go to that training.
On the 3rd?
On the 3rd. However, I just talked with the school board, the School Board Association, and they said I only need an hour, so she said go out there and I guess there's some online classes.
Mhm.
So they said just for me to take those.
I think these were also part of an email where there was a link for those,
Yeah.
just recently.
He had reached out, and anybody that hadn't met the.
Right. He's provided us emails a whole bunch of late, but the most recent couple were such as a reminder of the 18th being the deadline for the third, registering for the third in Roanoke, or Stonewall. And the other was the thing that you just mentioned about the links to those other trainings.
Having attended them all, I will tell you, and I will advocate for the Stonewall one, that is a very informative one, and it's a good filler,
It's a full day, but it's full of information. It's very helpful. I'll be attending that as well.
It's difficult. Pardon me?
Do you need to cancel you going?
Yeah, I told her I would save us some money.
I can send her an email tomorrow.
Yeah. It's difficult. I don't know if you guys have probably the same problems I do, is when these trainings start at 1 PM on Fridays. It's difficult.
Well, the
And
Saturday.
I have a hard time taking vacation time. What I do is I come home, when they first started the new, where you have to do, this was back a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, when they started the code that they give at the first time they did the code, they kept showing the code like every 15 minutes or so. Right. Well, now what they started this past year was they just show the code within the first 15 minutes of the training, and then they don't show it again till the 6 o'clock session. So it's like the mornings, like the first afternoon, 1 to 5, and then they break for dinner. You get that code in the first 15 minutes. And I logged on and I watched I don't know, it went from 1 to 2:30, and then I watched to 3 to 5, and there was no code, so you didn't get credit because you couldn't post in there. So it's very difficult. So now I go on and I watch the 6 to 9, and then I get up on Saturday morning, if I get up, and I watch the morning on Saturday, but it's hard.
I do know, just it's my understanding that the May 3rd is a one-day.
Yeah, on a Saturday.
It's a Saturday drive-in.
That's why it was very convenient. I was really loving that Saturday one full day one. I really was, and I was going to listen in or go to that one.
Okay.
But she said, you only have an hour, go out there and get some of that other training, so that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
All right.
That's fine.
Any other board member comment or discussion for this evening? All right, hearing none, we'll move into the 9,000 series, future meetings. April 29th, 2025, 6 o'clock, here at the board office. May 13th, 2025, 6 o'clock, here at the board office. May 20th, 2025, 6 o'clock, here at the board office. Now, June 3rd, 6 o'clock, here at the board office. And June 10th, 2025, 6 o'clock, here at the board office. Motion to adjourn.
Moved.
I'm going to give that to Mr. Dowdy. And Mrs. Gallo seconds. All those in favor? Aye. And this meeting is adjourned at 7:23 PM. Thank you all for your time and everything you do.
Yeah, I gotta say, the basketball team, we don't have